All right. Hi, Josh. My name's Haley Sprankle, and I'm from Brit Co. It's so nice to meet you today.
Nice to meet you too, Haley.
I'm so excited about this movie. It just seems like such an exciting, thrilling, action-heavy movie. And so I was really curious about what your experience was with all the stunt work in this film, and if you had any kind of funny moments trying to work with all the motorcycles and big explosions.
Yeah, it was my first time back on a motorcycle in a while, so I had a pretty steep learning curve. But but yeah, thankfully we had a good team of guys who got me back, up to speed quickly. Um, there was some pretty some of the things you don't see is me like falling in the woods on the bike, and it was pretty rough terrain trying to rip a bike through the woods like that, um but yeah, it was that. It was the innovation this guy has with some of these gadgets. It's this idea that if you had to, could you disconnect from the world and go live off, in the woods like this? And, you know, it's been a fascination of mine for a long time is the idea of could I do it? Could I live? I'm looking at a lake behind the screen right now. Could I go out there and could I fish or could I find enough food and could I get enough clean water? All these basic things that I think we take for granted. Suddenly this guy had to learn to adapt to this new way of living. And I think that that's really what drew me to this, is the idea of that. Could I do it? And can this guy do it? And not only can he do it, I feel like he found a lot of peace in it. He found a lifestyle that he wasn't probably expecting to love as much as he does, but out of necessity, he had to.
That's awesome. Yeah. Why do you think that this kind of story is particularly relevant right now, kind of given what you were just talking about?
Well, I think that, we're always concerned about, you know, the weaponization of anything. And I think that that's one of his fears with this is he invented this cold fusion technology with the intention of providing free energy for the world. Um, but the government wanted to weaponize it, so he took it and he ran and went into hiding. And we're talking about $1 trillion invention that he's got here. So this is something they will do anything and go to any and all ends of the earth to find. And so I think that is where the stakes lie in this is that, it's a very simple life that he's living, but that thing that he holds is, very powerful. And I think that those two things are a fun sort of contrast that we tried to play with this is try to make living off the grid is believable and gritty and lonely and beautiful as we could, while knowing that at any moment he knew they're looking for him, and at some point they're going to find him. So that was kind of the crux of the movie.
That's awesome. Yeah. And kind of on a less serious note, but kind of leaning into the fun that you had, your Ransom Canyon castmates deemed you the biggest goofball on set when I talked to them. Lizzie
Really?
and Andrew told me about a prank where you were potentially throwing bread balls during a scene. So I was curious if you have a comment on that and if you pulled any kind of pranks on the off the grid set.
Yeah, it's a really fun cast. The Ransom Canyon crew is so fun. They really are just a bunch of really solid human beings, starting with April Blair, who runs the show. Uh, and yeah, I guess I do like to screw around. You're at these dinner scenes. I know what he's talking about. We're at a dinner scene. It was like a fundraiser, and they had those long tables of people, and everybody gets their dry chicken and their bread and butter. And so about about 3 hours into it, I was like, I'm going to start having some fun. And that's when I started making the bread balls and seeing if I could hit Andrew from across the room.
Awesome. Did you do anything
Successfully,
like
successfully, by the way. Yeah.
okay, okay. The next time I talk to him, I'll remind him that you didn't miss. You didn't miss a shot.
No, I wasn't going to stop until I hit him.
Yeah. Did you pull any fun pranks to like kind of cut the tension while you were working on Off the Grid, or were there any standout funny moments that happened for you while you were working with everyone?
Gosh, yeah. I mean, I can't think of any offhand, but I do like to keep it light on the set. You're working long, hard days, especially down in Mississippi in the swampy parts of the country. It's very, very dry, a lot of bugs, or a lot very humid, I should say. And so, you know, one of the things that it's just my personality though. I'm always goofing off. I take it all very seriously, but you gotta keep it light too, because we are working long, hard hours. So I can't remember anything offhand, but I'm usually pulling some kind of a prank.
That's awesome. That's awesome. No, everybody loves it when people can keep things light, especially in those tense, high heat moments.
Yeah.
So, and also in terms of keeping things like, you take it seriously as well. I just saw that Minka was talking about how she had to learn to play piano for Ransom Canyon. And so I was curious, have you had to learn any skills for this movie or any projects you've been working on in particular that you're excited about or might keep in your back pocket for the future?
One of the most, one of the things I love the most about this job is that you sort of out of necessity have to learn things you would never otherwise do. Skills that you would probably never take the time to learn, like horseback riding. I mean, I'd ridden horses before, but I had to be really good at it. Whether it's playing a hockey coach who's a former pro hockey player, you got to learn how to. I hadn't skated for 30 years, or getting back on a motorcycle for this one. It was a lot of. There's always something you have to learn and get in and try to be proficient at. And that's one of the beauties of this business. I'm very lucky that I get to do this and tell all sorts of different stories and play different characters and learn things and see places that I would never go. And so yeah, it's every job is a new adventure, I tell you.
That's amazing. Well, I'm so excited for everyone to see this movie and to see you bust all those motorcycle riding skills again. So, thank you so much for your time today, and I hope you enjoy the rest of your interviews.
Thank you, Haley.
Have a good one. Bye.